Retirement in the Caribbean sounds expensive. But what if I told you it doesn't have to be? What if you could wake up every morning to turquoise water, warm weather all year, and a cost of living so low that your savings actually last? Today I'm breaking down the best low-cost Caribbean islands that are genuinely perfect for retirement. And some of these will seriously surprise you. So first, let's talk about why the Caribbean even makes sense for retirement in the first place. You've got warm weather year-round, beautiful scenery, relatively easy access from North America and Europe, and in many places, a relaxed pace of life that's hard to find from anywhere else. The problem is that most people assume Caribbean living equals expensive living. And honestly, on some islands, that's true. Aruba, St. Bart's, Anguilla, these places are genuinely pricey. But the Caribbean is huge, and there are islands where you can live well, really well, on a modest budget. That's exactly what this video is about. For retirement purposes, we're not just looking at cheap hotel prices. We're looking at the full picture: the cost of housing, groceries, healthcare access, safety, internet, the overall lifestyle quality, and whether a place actually welcomes foreign residents or retirees. Those are the things that matter when you're thinking long-term. Starting with number 1, the Dominican Republic, specifically outside of the touristy Punta Cana zone. Look, everyone knows Punta Cana. It's beautiful, but as a retirement destination, it's become increasingly expensive, and the all-inclusive resort bubble doesn't exactly reflect real daily life. What you want to look at instead is places like Puerto Plata on the north coast, or the interior cities like Santiago, or even the coastal town of Las Terrenas in the Samana Peninsula. These areas offer a completely different side of the Dominican Republic. More authentic, more affordable, and honestly more interesting for long-term living. In Puerto Plata, for example, you can find decent long-term rentals for a fraction of what you'd pay in Punta Cana or in a US city. Groceries are affordable, especially if you shop at local markets and eat what the locals eat. The food culture here is rich. Lots of rice, beans, chicken, plantains, and fresh seafood. And if you're anything like me who wants to be shredded all year round, then that high-protein local food situation is genuinely exciting. The Dominican Republic also has a formal retirement program called the Pensionado Visa, which gives qualifying retirees tax benefits and reduced fees on importing household goods. It's one of the more retiree-friendly programs in the entire Caribbean. Healthcare is improving, especially in urban areas, and while it's not at US or European standards everywhere, private healthcare is much more affordable than back home. This is a strong option if you're open to learning some Spanish and embracing a local lifestyle. Number 2, Belize. Now here's the one that doesn't get enough attention. Belize is English-speaking, which is a huge advantage for a lot of retirees, especially if language barriers are a concern. It sits on the Caribbean coast of Central America, so it has that classic Caribbean feel. White sand beaches, crystal clear water, you can snorkel, but it also has jungle and a wild, natural environment that makes it genuinely unique. Belize has one of the most well-known retirement programs in the region, the Qualified Retired Persons Program, or also called as QRP. If you qualify, you pay less tax on the money you bring into the country, and you can import your personal belongings duty-free. The catch? Belize isn't the absolute cheapest option. Places like Ambergris Caye, which is the most popular tourist island, can get pricey. But if you move away from the tourist hotspots and look at places like Corozal in the north, or even parts of the Cayo district inland, the cost of living drops significantly. For a retiree who wants English convenience, Caribbean beauty, and great places to swim and explore the sea, Belize offers much more than you would expect. Number 3, Curacao. This one is a place that has a lot to offer. First, it is in a place where hurricanes don't usually happen. This is important if you want to live there for a long time. Second, it has that incredible Caribbean lifestyle with a Dutch influence because it is part of the Netherlands. So it means colorful colonial architecture in Willemstad, European-level infrastructure and governance standards, and a relaxed atmosphere. Third, compared to its neighbor country Aruba, it's significantly more affordable. Curaçao uses a currency linked to the US dollar, so the value doesn't change a lot and is more stable. The island has a decent healthcare, good internet connectivity, and people who speak many different languages. Most people speak Papiamentu, Dutch, English, and Spanish, so communication is rarely a problem. For retirees, housing costs are meaningfully lower than in more famous Caribbean islands. You can find apartments in calm residential neighborhoods for prices that would genuinely shock you if you're coming from a major US city. And the lifestyle quality is high. Walkable areas, local restaurants, cultural events, a real community feel in Willemstad, rather than just a tourist bubble. So if you want Caribbean life that feels real and livable, rather than just vacation-like, Curaçao deserves a serious consideration. Number 4, Puerto Rico. And before you say anything, yes, Puerto Rico is part of the United States. That's actually the point. Especially if you are an American retiree, Puerto Rico is one of the most underrated options on the planet. You don't need a passport. Your US healthcare benefits, like Medicare, work there. Social Security payments come in normally. There's no foreign currency to deal with. And yet, the cost of living is dramatically lower than in most US mainland cities. The weather is tropical and beautiful, and you're surrounded by Caribbean scenery every single day. But here's the thing. Most people only think of San Juan when they think of Puerto Rico. San Juan is great, but it's also where the prices are the highest. The real budget value in Puerto Rico, especially for retirees who want a slower pace, is on the West Coast. Towns like Rincon, which is famous for surfing and sunsets, or Mayagüez, or even the small towns in the mountain areas of the island. These places offer a completely different Puerto Rico experience. In Rincon, for example, beachfront hotels regularly come in at remarkably low prices with outstanding review scores. We're talking about places right on the beach with beautiful pools, highly rated by thousands of guests, for costs that seem almost impossible if you compare them to what you'd pay in San Juan or anywhere on the US mainland. That same energy translates to the long-term rental and property market too. And here's something worth knowing. Puerto Rico has specific tax incentives under Act 22 and related programs that can be incredibly beneficial for retirees with investment income or business income. But the details matter here, and you'd want to consult a financial advisor, but the potential savings can be significant. So for a US retiree who wants tropical living with zero language barrier and full access to US banking and healthcare systems, Puerto Rico is genuinely one of the best deals available. Number 5, Bonaire. Now this one is a bit more niche, but hear me out. Bonaire is part of the Caribbean Netherlands, meaning it's a special municipality of the Netherlands. US dollars are the official currency there. The island is tiny, quiet, and has almost no mass tourism compared to other Caribbean islands. It's primarily known as a world-class diving destination. The underwater nature around Bonaire is protected, the water is very clear, and you can walk straight from the beach and start snorkeling and see sea life within minutes. The resort properties here are notably more affordable than options on famous islands. The infrastructure is solid, the crime rate is very low, and the community is small and supportive. The trade-off is that Bonaire is extremely quiet. There's no major nightlife, not a huge variety of restaurants, and the pace of life is very slow. But for many retirees, that's not a trade-off at all. That's exactly the point. If you want peace, nature, incredible ocean access, and a safe, well-governed island at lower cost than most of its Caribbean neighbors, Bonaire is genuinely exceptional. Number 6, Grenada. This is one of the most beautiful islands in the entire Caribbean, and yet it remains one of the most underpriced. Grenada doesn't have areas full of big resorts or the heavy tourist infrastructure of the more famous islands. It's full of greenery, tropical, and genuinely stunning. The nickname, the Spice Isle, comes from the spices grown there, like nutmeg and cinnamon, and you can taste these flavors in the local food. For retirees, Grenada offers real value. Housing is significantly more affordable than on the high-profile islands. The lifestyle is relaxed and community-oriented. Healthcare has been improving, and the island's medical school presence actually means there's more medical infrastructure than you might expect for an island this size. Grenada also has a citizenship investment program, and while that's a separate topic, it signals that the government is actively interested in attracting foreign residents and investment. The properties tend to have that natural hillside meets beachfront character, big rooms, stunning views, and a calm atmosphere. It feels elevated without being expensive, and that is a rare combination. So, if you want Caribbean beauty without the Caribbean premium price tag, Grenada is one of the most compelling answers. And if you found this video valuable so far, subscribe to join the ultimate budget squad that looks to build the life they enjoy without spending a fortune. Number 7. St. Kitts. This island genuinely surprises people when they look at it, because visually it looks expensive. Lush green hills, colonial-era historic sites, calm, uncrowded beaches, and a polished but relaxed atmosphere. It feels like one of the premium islands, but the pricing tells a different story. On St. Kitts, you can find well-reviewed resort-style properties right near the main beach areas for prices that are genuinely cheap. We're talking about properties with large modern rooms, beautiful pools, and excellent access to beaches, restaurants, and beach bars at rates that are less than half of what comparable experience costs elsewhere in the region. And the review scores back up the quality. For retirees, St. Kitts is interesting because it's small and manageable. It's calm without being totally isolated. It has a growing expat community, and the quality of life is high without requiring a high budget. The island also has a citizenship by investment program, which again might be relevant depending on your situation and long-term goals. So the key is simple. Choose smart, do your research, visit before you decide, and talk to people who already live there. And remember, living on a budget in the Caribbean doesn't mean living boringly. It means choosing the right island, the right area, and the right way to live your daily life. And if you have questions about any of these islands, cost of living, visas, or best areas, write them in the comments and let's talk. Flex hard, spend smart.